Welcome to the second part of our journey through Australia, which will take us to some remarkable, beautiful places. Our last stop was the Australian Capital Territory, where we got to know the cosmopolitan and modern capital of Australia, Canberra. Now we visit South Australia with its capital Adelaide, which offers an ideal starting point for excursions into the outback. The jagged, weathered peaks and rocky gorges of the 600-million-year-old Flinders Ranges form some of the most dramatic and beautiful landscapes in the country. Green and forested in the south, it becomes sparser and drier in the north. There are 3 national parks in the Flinders Ranges: the Wulkatunya-Gammon Ranges National Park in the north, the Flinders Ranges National Park in the middle, and the Mount Markable National Park in the south. The area has a rich Aboriginal history and is home to a lot of wildlife, such as kangaroos, including the rare yellow-footed rock kangaroos, wallabies, various reptiles, emus and birds, as well as the foxes, goats and rabbits brought over from Europe. Traces of the Aboriginal people can be seen in the Urambula caves. In the semi-arid parts of South Australia, the mallee vegetation forms the transition from the hardwood area to the semi-desert. It consists mainly of shrubby eucalyptus species with thick bulbous stems growing underground, from which the large umbrella-shaped leaves emerge. Mulga bush and mallee vegetation can be interspersed with spinifex grassland of hard, sharp, resin-coated hedgehog grasses that are unappetizing to grazing animals. Between these community complexes there are all transitions up to pure grassland. The vegetation of the driest parts, with rare, irregular rainfall, is dominated by patchy dwarf shrub stands of saltbush and bluebush, which require somewhat more favorable water conditions. However, the semi-deserts of Australia are very poor in succulents, although such species do exist in principle. A stopover in Tasmania, the island state of Australia, separates us from the mainland for a short time. The Bass Strait takes us to this island, which offers beautiful beaches, rugged mountains, raging rivers, and a peculiar animal world. Hobart, the capital of Tasmania, is the country's southernmost capital and surprises visitors with an impressive food and wine scene. But you can also glide through narrow crevices and observe sea cliffs on a boat tour or climb to the summit of Mount Wellington on a hike. If you're very lucky, you might spot one of Tasmania's unique marsupials on a tour through the rainforests in the west or on a hike through the eucalyptus forests in the east. In addition to the Tasmanian brush red kangaroo, the marsupial devil, or the spotted marsupial, there would also be the odd reptile or insect to marvel at, or not, depending on your opinion. Australia is known to be also home to many venomous snakes, spiders and reptiles. However, of the 21 venomous snake species found in Australia, there are only 3 in Tasmania: the tiger snake, the lowland copperhead snake, and the white-lipped snake. If you are bitten, the same antivenom helps with all 3. Back to the mainland and the state of Victoria. With its capital Melbourne, the largest city in Australia, Victoria is the thriving heart of Australian culture. Melbourne has been voted the most livable city in the world several times due to its cultural diversity, modern cityscape and friendly atmosphere. If you don't fancy the many museums and galleries, the Grampians National Park, a majestic mountain range in the west of Victoria, is home to an incredible variety of native animals and a rich indigenous history. The mountain rainforests of southern Victoria are also remarkable, with their dense undergrowth of lianas and tall tree ferns, the abundance of epiphytes, and their canopy of eucalypts at almost 100 meters high. From Victoria we head to Western Australia, which is the largest state in Australia and whose capital Perth is famous for its quiet, uncrowded beaches and parklands. On the southwest coast, in the rainiest areas, tall laurel forests with valuable timber species thrive. The best known of these is the eucalyptus species of the karri tree, whose wood is characterized by its great strength. The up to 80-meter high karri forests are replaced in less rainy areas by somewhat lower eucalyptus forests, some of whose trees produce extraordinarily hardwood. As the dry border is approached, the tree stands become increasingly sparse and lower. They eventually merge into dry conifer forests or open hardwood forests interspersed with grass growth, which in turn merge into savannas without sharp boundaries as the dryness increases. The boundaries of these vegetation units can be permanently shifted by human influence, particularly through grazing or fire. Huge areas in the interior of the continent are occupied by the mulga bush, named after the 4 to 6 meter high resin-covered Acacia anoira, whose flowering is not tied to any season but to the rain. These plants are an impressive proof of the adaptability of Australian vegetation. After our stay in Australia's largest federal state, we now make a detour to some of the areas that are also under Australian administration. If you visit Christmas Island, also known as the Galapagos of the Indian Ocean, during the rainy season, you can observe one of the greatest natural spectacles in the world, the mating march of millions of red land crabs, which are endemic to this island. Rare seabirds can also be found here, including the world's only colonies of the endangered white-bellied frigate bird and the Abbott's gannet. If you want to dive instead, you can swim with whale sharks, marvel at the abundance of fish in the coral reefs, or relax on one of the beautiful beaches, such as Lily Beach, Dolly Beach, or Ethel Beach. This island, which is closer to Asia than mainland Australia, offers a fascinating mix of cultures as well as some of the most spectacular natural wonders on Earth. The Cocos or Keeling Islands consist of 27 beautiful islands spread over 2 atolls. Of these islands, only 2 are inhabited. The smaller, northern atoll, North Keeling, consists of a single C-shaped island with a length of about 2 kilometers and a width of 1.3 kilometers. It has been strictly protected since 1986 and is part of the Pulu-Keeling National Park. The remaining islands are distributed in an almost perfect circle on the southern atoll, where the capital of the same name is located on the main island of West Island. Here, just like on the other islands, are many seabirds that find protected breeding grounds in the Pulu-Keeling National Park. The vegetation consists mainly of coconut palms, pisonia, velvet leaf, tea plants and grasses, while in the waters you can marvel at kelp forests, seagrass meadows and tropical marine plants. Fantastic beaches and fish-rich waters make this archipelago a dream destination for divers. From the tropical north of the Northern Territory, with its dense vegetation of eucalyptus, acacia and deciduous trees, the mangrove forests and the home of the feisty saltwater crocodiles, to the breathtaking sandy beaches and rainforests of subtropical Queensland. From the snowy mountains of New South Wales, with its alpine high mountain vegetation, to the world-famous landmarks of Sydney and the rugged rock formations of the Blue Mountains. From the Australian Capital Territory, with its cosmopolitan flair, to the rocky gorges of the Flinders Ranges. From the island beauty of Tasmania, with its rainforests and eucalyptus forests, to the breathtaking mountain ranges of the Grampian National Park in Victoria. And finally, to the largest state, Western Australia, with its precious hardwood forests and dry savannas. Australia is a fascinating country with beautiful landscapes and a culture dating back more than 60,000 years, where not only animals and plants, but also humans have proven to be particularly adaptable and resilient. Thank you for watching. We hope you've enjoyed our video. If so, please leave us a like or a comment and subscribe to our channel. This is free for you and helps our channel to grow. See you next time!